Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft episode from the Deep South here. I'm still at Disney, and the husband's taking a nap, so I already did the pool thing. Looked like we have some thunder boomers, so I'm out here into the same gazebo having a ball, inspired by the music here. There's so much music, and I love music. I mean, I couldn't hit a note with a 2x4. I forgot if I introduced myself again. Okay, keep doing that. All right, my name's Kimberly Quinn. I'm here to talk with you today about playing your music. Don't die with your music still in you. So anyway, back to that inspired thing. All right, so there's a lot of music here, and the theme of this particular spot where we are is New Orleans, right? And so we had the good fortune to be there right when the Rona was breaking out, literally March 2020. That's maybe for a whole nother episode. That was like a wild scare for people, especially that particular month of that particular year. But anyway, staying on the track, there's a lot of good jazz here and just a lot of great music, just like real New Orleans, right? And so I've just been thinking, it just flows. When you hear good music, it really flows. So we've got music in us, right? That when we hear good musicians singing their tune, that's just their energy. That's just their energy, and they're in reality singing the music. And I'm here today to talk with you, very inspired, meaning in spirit, about playing your music. Don't die with your music still in you. You know, and my dear friend Oprah, right, we're very close, she just doesn't know. She talks about that a lot, and I am like 100% in agreement with her, because I don't, as of right now, I don't have a desire in the world to retire. I mean, ask me later, sure. Maybe slow down eventually, but I don't know. Because I just, not while I still have music in me to play. There's just so much to do out there. So much to do, so many ways to be of service, so much to do. And so what we're talking about is passion, purpose, and alignment, right? So passion again comes from being inspired, again, in spirit. This is about the divine connection that is within all of us, right? And there is no way, no how you're going to find your authentic purpose or passion without acknowledging that connection that holds us all, like this connects us all together. That's just how it is. So we're talking about passion, purpose, and alignment. So it's when you're about to land with your authentic purpose, it has to be about your personality in alignment with what you were put on this earth to do. Okay? And that's it. And that's where the meaning and the fulfillment comes. So, Wayne Dyer, I got to give Wayne Dyer a shout out because, sorry, I just got a little distracted because I like a really nice couple. Actually, I don't know if they're nice, I never met them, but a very cute couple just walked by and it kind of threw me a little bit. Okay, so Wayne Dyer does this thing where he has people point, he asks you to point to yourself. And most people go like that, right? And you find out that the high majority of people, when you ask them to point to themselves, point to their heart, not their head. That's wild. So he does this whole thing where it's real, well, we know we're not our thoughts, right? He does this whole thing about listening, feeling. And Oprah says the exact same thing. So here's the deal. We only have so many life minutes. I'm a big fan of life minutes. And we only have so many life minutes to play our tune, to play our notes, right? That's just how it is. And so we really need to be thinking that way. It's kind of like, you know, when Dorothy's up in the witch's tower and, you know, flips over the little hourglass there with the sand in it, like, you know, and not to like instill fear is not the idea. It's more about awareness. Only so many life minutes to play our music. And so how the world works, the universe, I call it God, you call it source, universe, higher power, whatever, we'll do a lot of attempts. We'll make a lot of attempts to get our attention. Oprah calls them whispers, and they get louder and louder and louder. So that can be illness like ulcers, you know, some arrhythmia, some, God forbid, heart attack, and then all of a sudden, whoa, got our attention. So, you know, it's obviously best to not wait to get, you know, have things get our attention on that level before we start to really kind of focusing on what matters. You know, instead of being in, you know, zipping around like gerbils on crack, you know, and which we do in this fast-paced, media-saturated society, and also like hamsters on a wheel, just running for what? And without meaning and without purpose. Then it's like Maya Angelou would say, "Oh, there's a nice breeze there." Wasting our inertia, or wasting our motion, wasting our inertia. So we need to listen to your music and play it. this is how, and how we know is by how we feel. Oprah says this a lot too. So it's kind of like, if you're asking if whatever it is you're doing is your authentic purpose, if you have to ask, it isn't. That's just how it is. It's kind of like being in love. You can love somebody. You can love lots of people. But being in love, you just know. If you have to ask if you're in love, you probably aren't. I mean, it's just how it is. So if you're asking, is this my authentic purpose? You just know. You're not thinking about it. You're not watching the clock. That's called being in the flow zone, which comes from the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And you really know, because there's no one else you want to be, nowhere else you want to be. You can't tell, like with the time, that you lose track of time. And I'm not saying that, you don't have a bad day here and there. Of course you do. Life happens. Stuff happens. You can be on your way to your car and and then it's thundering and lightning and maybe your tire popped, all kinds of life stuff happening that throws your day a little, sure. But the high majority of the time, you are just loving life. And even if you do have thunderstorms and tires pop and stuff, you don't get all flipped out over it. It's like, okay, I'm in the moment. This is my present moment. That's how it is. It doesn't make a lot of sense to get all worked up about it. And we've had a lot of talks about worrying, complete waste of your life minutes. And so when we're in our authentic zone, playing our music, playing our tunes, it's really the only way to live our best life. That's just how it is. Okay, so I'm talking about playing your music with passion. Let the world know why you're here. Let the world know why you were put on this earth to do exactly what you were meant to do. And with nearly 8 billion people on this earth, you might say, oh, well, there's got to be some overlap. No, believe it or not, almost 8 billion people on this earth, and every single one of us unique snowflakes, is meant to play a different tune. Just how it is. So obviously, when, following our passion does take risk. It takes cojones, right? It takes some intestinal fortitude, right? It takes some risk, because it can be so easy to get locked into the comfort zone, because you don't have to be miserable to want to break free. Misery kind of helps us break free, honestly. But I think actually worst traps in some ways is being content, because being content, being happy and fulfilled are not the same thing. Being content and being happy and fulfilled are not the same thing. And to me, that can be a worse trap, because it's hard to break free from. It's kind of like if you put your hand on a hot burner, it's pretty miserable. You pretty quickly pull away from the hot burner, right? Well, if it's not that case, and you're kind of able to pay the mortgage and, go out for dinner once in a while, and you're waking up doing the same drill and all that, but you don't, there's no spark. There's no meaning. There's no purpose. To me, that's almost like a fate worse than death in some ways. I mean, metaphorically speaking. So that can be actually tougher to break free from. So realize again, I think you also learn this as you hit midlife a little more too. I mean, honestly, I think I've lived my life this way from the beginning, because that might be the Fast Mind Club though, because we can't not do our passion, which there's another side to that whole impulsivity thing, but we can't not, because when we cease to be interested, we cease to want to do it. So we kind of because we operate in an interest-based nervous system, right? However, when you hit the midlife stage, I think we become acutely aware that we've got less time in front of us than behind us. And so we get we start to look at things a little differently. So how do I know my purpose? Okay, I wrote myself a few notes here. I didn't actually have paper, so I wrote in the back of a book. But anyway, we know by how we feel. And Oprah says this lots and lots. And like I just said with the being in love thing, you know by how you feel. If you have to ask, it's not what you're meant to be doing. Okay, it's just how it is. Then what else do I have here? Oh yeah, okay. So then again, just to recap, passion comes from a place of comes from inspiration, which means in spirit. So once again, it is how it is. We've got to listen to those whispers. Oprah will say, listen to the whispers so I turn into bricks. Kind of like my heart attack example. Okay? Or they don't need to be so severe. Let's say it's headaches. You're getting stress headaches. That's a clear signal that something's not right in Denmark. You know what I mean? And also, another thing as far as workplace passion, if you are, let's say, content, satisfied, or, in that middle, nothing's really wrong, you got a solid paycheck, but you're not excited to go to work, you're living for the weekends, then that is definitely time to make a change. And we all like the weekends. I'm not saying that. But if you're living for, oh yeah, thank God it's Friday. I only have like, or let's say, I only have 2 more days on that. Wow, it's Thursday and it's 2 o'clock. 3 more hours and then one more day and then it's Friday. I'm like, oh my God, it's noon, TGIF. And not that we're not happy the weekend's here, but if you're focused on it on Wednesday, Thursday, and halfway through Friday, something's not right. It's just not right, because when you're loving what you do, I think there's like some cheesy cliche out there about, let me just think. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, something like that. All right. And again, it doesn't mean you don't have a moment here and there. Of course you do, but it's like a good mattress. Living your passion, playing your music. Think of the time you spend on a mattress. It better be a good fit, or it's miserable. Also, what you do, what your role is in this world, needs to be. There is only one fit for you. That's it. That's how it is. You are meant what you are meant. It might change and alter a little bit, but there's one main theme, because it's based on what your strengths are and your personality aligning with your passion and what you're meant to do. So it might change faces a little bit, but the core of what drives you and pulls you to it will be the same. There you go. All right. So please, I implore you not to die with your music still in you. You play every last note. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful yet very hot and humid Disney World.